I was sailing for the last 14 years as a first officer, so obviously I knew the industry very well and how it functions. That's when a friend of mine and me were discussing, and he mentioned to me that there should be a website, an Amazon-like website, from where a captain can order marine products online. The idea just stuck on to me, and I started thinking more and more about it and got really excited. And that's when Shipstart was born. I'm very passionate about Shipstart. In fact, all of us, all three co-founders and everybody associated with Shipstart, we quit our jobs to pursue this. This is not just a company for us. It's like a dream. We know that we've created what we wanted to. We believe that in a couple of years, we will be the company for synonymous with the procurement of marine products.
Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Today in the series of people whom we are talking who have inspired their life and also inspiring everybody, we have Capt.Dhruv Sawhney today with us, who is joining us from Shipskart. I'm sure most of the people would have heard about Shipskart. If not, we will surely learn a lot about from him. He is basically a seafarer turned entrepreneur. He was sailing on merchant navy vessels, and then he shifted ashore and he started a crew management company and Amazon for the shipping industry, you can call it. So he has done a lot of stuff in the merchant navy and ashore. So let's talk to him. Thank you so much for joining us, Capt.Dhruv, and taking out time from your busy schedule, I know. So thank you so much for spending the time with us.
Thank you, Capt.Dhruv. Thank you so much for having me on the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So starting, we'll quickly start. What was your entry into merchant navy like? You were a very studious kind of a student, and you wanted to have that big vision of I want to wear uniform and sail on ships, or it just happened by luck or by accident? How did you enter into merchant navy, and what was your schooling life like? Quickly.
So basically, I'm born and brought up in Delhi, and so I went to Noida. I went to APG school Noida, which was a pretty prominent school, during our time, and still is. So one of my friends in the society, he was always very keen in joining merchant navy, and once we were playing cricket, and he happened to tell me that, why don't you try your luck? So that day I told my father that, I want to join merchant navy, because the vision was not very clear of what I wanted to do. And my father, we come from north and, they're part of Delhi. So it was very difficult to, that time there was not much knowledge about merchant navy. So basically people did not know how people would know in Bombay and other coastal areas of India. In Delhi it was hardly there would be people you would know who are from who joined merchant navy. So obviously my father thought that I want to avoid studying further, and that's why I'm joining merchant navy. But anyways, I think I was told that ERA is the place where I have to call up and find out. So and I did that, and luckily when my father, he was basically a chief manager in Union Bank of India, when he started discussing this with his colleagues, one of the colleagues' son was pursuing second mates that time. So that was again a very nice coincidence, and he happened to call me that evening. He told me that you have to print these letters, along with your, resume, and send across to these 20 companies that I am going to tell you. And one of these companies was Elite Mariners, Gearbulk. So I went for the interview to Bombay and got selected. Then I did my PC training at ARI Delhi, and thereafter joined my first ship. I did 2 ships with Gearbulk, and thereafter I switched over to tankers.
2 things actually. First, you correctly told, your father suspected that you don't want to study anymore and you want to join merchant navy, which is so very incorrect, right?
So very incorrect. And he realized it later on, he told me that, and I was so wrong. There is so much to study, and study for a longer period of time, after every 2 years, 3 years, you're studying again.
Exactly. And second thing, you told it was a nice coincidence that you got information that was a second mate who was actually preparing for second mate's exam. So that means you actually enjoyed your merchant navy, and you were lucky that you got into merchant navy.
Absolutely. I mean, I always say this, so I've got a cousin who joined Merchant Navy looking at me. I was the first in my family from both sides, to join. So, so when people look at that lifestyle that I was leading, you have the money. That's the only thing you have that time actually, and so you have that lifestyle that you're living, and you obviously I took my family from say a middle class family to a higher middle class family, or even more than that. So obviously, things worked out very well for me. Yes, it is a tough life. It gets lonely at times, but it's also very peaceful. It's very chaotic these days here. There are pressures, toxic environments, but I mean it can be there also. It is there also, but ultimately you have lots of time to for yourself to think, to ponder how life is going. You have a lot of time. So yes, and these days you require that solo time for yourself. So that's the one thing that I miss now. That solo time, looking at the stars and sky, and life is moving slowly that time when you're at least at open sea. So yes, it's a great field. I mean, I know people don't have that patience now to sail for 5 to 6 months. So people, I know a lot of people, and I'm very active on LinkedIn. So I get connect with a lot of people. I know a lot of people from second mates only. They've left sailing. They've done their MBA from IIM or any B school, and they've started working in a corporate setup, which is fine too. But and they get decent money. From once they clear the college, they're getting a decent money, 1.5 to 2 lakh rupees easily. And I know of like at least 20 to 30 people who have done this. In my circle. So yes, somebody who likes it, it's a good field wherein in a short period of time you can start earning money, rather than doing your 5 years of engineering and then thereafter start at a 30,000 rupees job. And so yes, obviously, and whichever field gives you that kind of money at such a young age, obviously it would be demanding, and it will have its share of pressures too.
Talking about your Merchant Navy career, so you joined Gearbulk, and how was your first ship as cadet, and then your officers? How was your journey?
Pathetic. It was just the worst possible ship that I have very, very sad memories of that ship, because I think the first 4 months were amazing, but then thereafter the chief officer started like really harassing me, so there was this perception that time that he's a Dilli ka ladka, and when you're from south part of India, you start thinking कि ये लोग तो इतनी ऐश करते हैं, ये करते हैं, and we guys we have to be constantly into the books. But I mean, obviously I did not know about that perception, but I had to really bear the brunt of that perception that my chief officer had. So he really that 5 months were like a nightmare, which I still don't forget. And I sometimes I feel like sending that guy an email and saying that this is how much. This is the extent that you bullied me, But anyways, I think, I got over that time. The second ship was fabulous. I had 3-4 months of, again, not bad, not great time. So that time, the cadetship was not easy. You were totally dependent on how your bosses are. It was nothing to do with how you are performing only. It also had to do with how the people on the ship were and how they wanted to bully you or not bully you at all. Nowadays, it cannot happen. It doesn't happen. I mean, nowadays, people don't have the time, the patience, and cadets also don't have the patience to listen to all the, crap that, they would be saying. Right? So, but those days were different. There was hardly any, people did not know what do you need to do when something like this happens. Slapping and all was like a very norm sort of a thing that time. You would know, you are, way much senior than me, but you would know, about 5, 7, 8 years before. But yes, the cadetship finished. I switched over to tankers, joined BSM, Vijayaraghavan. It was a different feel altogether joining a VLCC. So did about a couple of ships, and thereafter joined K-Line, Maersk, and Maersk was my VLCC. I joined in 2010, and that was my last ship. Thereafter, I joined offshore. I joined Bourbon Offshore, and I sailed there for about 7 to 8 years.
Rightly told, that जो पहले ज़माने का cadetship और today's cadetship is completely different. People don't have that, now the trainees don't have that thing to take anything, even some bad words also, they go and complain. You have open system, go to the company.
Absolutely.
So it is for the present generation, I don't think there is any challenges that way, and you have
internet. You have internet also.
Exactly. अभी तो सीधा company छोड़, it goes to the social media directly.
Absolutely. But this has happened, and you can post a letter. This is what has happened to me, and social media is very intolerant. They don't tolerate that much.
Yeah, exactly. So it is not only the company, the whole world will know about that officer is.
Absolutely.
So now we come to the next stage of your life where you have joined Merchant Navy and became a seafarer, and now the transition from seafarer to the entrepreneur side. When did it actually start?
So actually, I think, on my professional journey, I think, during my 7 years at Bourbon actually completely changed me as a professional. So I say this very often that, I was the blue-eyed boy of Bourbon. All the top bosses of Bourbon, they were like, I was very, very close to them. I was possibly the youngest chief officer that time to be promoted from second officer to chief officer.
So after Maersk, you joined Bourbon, is it?
Bourbon, yes. And it was my dream company. That time there was a lot of name of Bourbon. So after Maersk, I did a stint with Great Ship India. I did one contract with Great Ship, and thereafter I, got the opportunity for Bourbon through BB. That time BB was there. So through BB, I joined.
Shifted from main fleet to offshore.
Yes, I shifted from main fleet to offshore in 2010-11, yes. So Bourbon changed me completely as a person. It gave me the confidence that, I can do things properly. I can, so I had the best of times, 7 years. I got promoted very fast. I was, I was called for seminars. I was sent for courses to Mars. So I was like the blue-eyed boy. So, it gave me that confidence that, so I used to obviously say something about, say, as individual seafarer and tell the company that this is really, and I was the chief officer, not even the captain, right? But because I had it was part of my circle that I could directly reach out to my bosses and tell them that, this guy is really, really nice. And, the company they took that suggestion, seriously, and the things started happening. So, when you're in a closed setup, things start spreading like wildfire if something nice is happening to somebody. So that, I think, it spread, and one of my captains, he started telling me that you should have a crew manning company. You're very good with you're a people's person. Iski salary badhwa di tumne, iski badhwa di, isko promotion milwa di, and you're a chief officer only. Then, I really thought that he's right, and I started this crew management company, Leadership Management, 2014. Obviously, it's still running. Obviously, I don't take care. I don't basically do. I don't have much to do now.
There is a strong contrast in your scenario where the ships actually don't make you or break you. It's only the people. The first few ships where the chief officers handled you, not very good. So that actually breaks your confidence. And somehow the group who are there around you, who support you and motivate you, that again builds your confidence. So
absolutely,
it is basically not the ships, and the people around you make actually your career.
And imagine, the guys who actually troubled me, years down the line, the same guys, their sons wanted to get into Merchant Navy. So the guy called me up and said that, can you get him help? Can you help him get into, become a cadet, and, basically get him a job? I said, I'll definitely try to help, just send me his resume. But the thing is that, life always comes full circle. I've always believed. That what you sow, you always get. In the last, as I said, the Bourbon time, completely changed me as a person. It gave me that confidence that I can do anything and everything. And, the company took really, really good care of me and got promoted very fast. And then I started this company. In fact, our first client itself was Bourbon. So obviously we were in good hands, safe hands.
This part, let's slow down a little bit. Okay, the master told you should start a crewing company, and you started a crewing company. That's too fast and too easy to beat.
Yes.
Right?
So it was very tough, because
what the thought process? How did you take that remark from flying remark from the master? Yeah, okay, you open a crewing company, and then tomorrow it is not that easy to open a crewing company.
Absolutely. But so that time there was not so much of information that was available on the internet, like how it is on DG website right now, where you can just search and you'll get the relevant notice, right, or MS notice. That time, you really had to search, you really had to go to the DG shipping office and get those forms out, right. I started doing my bit of research, and it took me about 6-8 months, to get all the information required by DG shipping to issue an RPSL or, a number. So, and I was just alone with my father. and I was here on vacation. But I think the something God gifted in me was, that I've always believed that I must take the first step. I've always believed that until and unless we don't take the first step, we will always find it very difficult to, whenever we look at the goal. So I think the first step was always very important, and obviously failures are part of, the journey. Correct. So our RPS got rejected the first time. Then second time again, I disembarked from ship. I did not go home. Directly went to Bombay to submit the documents.
So that third thought process changed. That when you heard that first time, you have to start a crewing company. From the thought, from tomorrow I have to start preparing the documents. What was that journey in between like?
So basically, yes. So basically, it was nothing that I did not know about myself. I always knew that I'm a people's person. I've always organized these get-togethers in school reunions and everything. So I've always been like that. I'm one of the guys who would still be connected to his teachers, still be connected to his school friends. I've always been like that. Still connected to my shipmates. So it was not something that I was not aware of. Obviously I was, but for a crewing company, obviously it was, it was a new thought. Because I got a lot of people, jobs within Bourbon without, too much of, issues, because as I said, company had faith and trust in me. So then we started looking for, how the RPSL thing works, what all forms. So when we submitted once, it got rejected, and that time they used to obviously courier back, or you have to call them up. It was not like they'll send you an email saying that, nothing like that. So it was 2014, I remember, and then we had the first audit, and I remember we didn't have a place for the office, right? I mean, there's no office, so I was thinking that when I'm just getting a license, I don't have any clients, right? So other people might be having clients and then they apply for a license, but for me it was the other way around, right? So I remember taking up an office space, and they don't give you an office space that time for one day or a few hours, right? They will give you for the full month. So they took 25,000 rupees from us, just for that few hours of, the initial RPSL audit. And we did the audit, we passed, and we were issued the RPSL. So that was a happy moment. Then Bourbon happened. Then there was no looking back, EMAS and MMA Offshore and all these companies, we started having agreements with.
How did you rope in your father into this? He was
he was retired, and plus, as I said, that I didn't have the wavelength because I was sailing, right? So I didn't have the wavelength to the bandwidth basically to do two things together. So he still is there, helping around, and we've got like a fixed team. But as I said, that now I'm like completely absent from the company. It's just whenever they require some help, I just put in my this thing. But I don't have, Shipstart is obviously the one baby that we're just taking care of.
So when did you actually hang up your boots finally? It was after immediately you started DV, or?
No. I finally left sailing in 2017.
Okay.
So we left sailing only because of Shipstart. So 2017 February we incorporated the company. We knew that we have to start this company. One thing again we were very firm that I told my colleague and partner Sunny that we have to leave our jobs. So
let's not hurry up on Shipstart. Let's go back.
Okay,
Let's go back to DV and how was the DV journey like? You were telling that Bourbon, okay, you knew. They knew you knew them, so it was easy. How did you go about the other companies? It was also equally easy, or what was the strategy like on the name of?
Basically, it was over a period of time. Obviously, which companies who is there, and who's working, and you have some common connect. So as I said that, and mostly we were targeting the offshore companies. So primarily, I would say that all the good offshore companies were our clients at one point of time, but only offshore. We were never very strong with bulk carriers or tankers. We did, and we still do, but it was it was just about 10% or 20% of our total revenue that came from bulk carriers. So yes, it was not very difficult. Every time I signed off from the ship, I'll stay in Dubai for a day or two, in Abu Dhabi, and meet the various offshore companies, and then come back home. I made a trip to Singapore to meet the companies, to have contracts with them. So it was it did not come very easy, but it was not very difficult also. Once you have the name, once you have the database, and once you have the people, right people, and plus we've always been very honest sort of individuals, and we run the company like that. So people basically knew that this is like a company you can bank on. They will help you out whenever if at all you are down and out.
And I have heard people, okay, if you keep sailing and doing a job, you having a business ashore, then it's really challenging because you need to have people very trusted. Otherwise, the business is not going anywhere.
Absolutely agree. I think that whoever has seeked my advice on that front. So on ship, what happens? It's a very irregular sort of a practice that two people sipping on coffee, looking at the bridge wing, and saying that इस बार मैं जाके ये वाला business start करूँगा. So it's a very sort of a regular shippy talks. And I have had these talks with so many, people who have basically told me कि नहीं इस बार मैं जाके ये वाला business start कर रहा हूँ, and then they come home, they're partying, and they don't have time, and they come back and like ये last time रह गया इस बार को. So one of the good things that happened with me was that one of my friends, again a chief mate, when he cleared his chief mate exams, he co-founded a company which went on to become like $1 million company, right? So I have seen him. His name is Vivek Kapoor. He was a Shipskart. He went on to sail. His last sailing was with BP, British Petroleum. Because we were close friends, and I've seen him from close quarters, how he built the company and how he left sailing and what he's gone through financially. So when it came to me, it was not very tough because I already had seen that part, right? It was tough that I was married. He was not married that time. So, those sort of things were tough. But
so this DV, you are sailing and DV looking after by your father was a easy time?
It was not tough. It was okay. So basically, again, as I said, there was, we did not have any too big aspirations to grow it into whatever money we were getting, it was just additional income, right? So I never thought that I'm going to leave sailing, and that aspiration was never there. It was just a part-time business.
Then what got you that aspiration? Abhi sailing nahi karna. We should not.
So Shipstart was the only thing that got me that, because I knew that I'm doing something very different. It's not a crew management or a ship management company which 10 companies are, there are hundreds of companies in the world are doing it. This is something very different. This is something which requires your full attention. This is something which can actually revolutionize, shipping, the maritime procurement. So I was very enthusiastic about it. The day I got to know, so that same friend, who was an entrepreneur, and Vivek, he mentioned about me that there should be something like Amazon, and I was like totally drawn into it. And I remember we were actually partying, and that's when he discussed. And I came back home, and I must have been around midnight, and I opened GoDaddy, and we took the domain name straight away there. I think the same night or the next day, we took the domain name. We wanted to take Shipstart. That was not available, so we took Shipstart, that's closest to it. So I did not know when I'm going to start or what I'm going to do, who's going to be a partner, nothing. But I knew this will happen.
So how did this actually happen? You met Vivek Kapoor in a party. You were ashore, or this thought in your mind was already there, or it was brought up while you were chatting with Vivek?
No. So this thought was, he just suggested the idea. Nothing more than that there should be an Amazon for shipping. But then I obviously, started thinking more and more, went more deeper into it. Obviously, he had his own business. He was heading another company, so he did not have the time. But I started, talking to friends, and then the first guy I spoke to was Sunny. And Sunny was not from the shipping background, and we met at a restaurant, and I never intended to ask him to become a partner, but I just was so enthusiastic that I was just telling, and I just happened to meet him that day, and I told him about it, and he said that, so after the end of the conversation, he said that, so how can I help you? What do you want from me? So then it was actually very awkward, for him to be asking me that question, because if you're asking me that question, that means that you're thinking on those lines that maybe I can also do something. So, but I did not think like that, because he was not from a shipping background. But again, then I said that, why don't you join me? And so his wife and me are kindergarten friends.
Okay.
So yes, so we started doing more and more research. But I told him, that we need to quit our jobs. So for me, it's very easy to quit and join after 6 months also, right? But for him in a corporate setup, he was working in Berger Paints, and in a corporate setup, it is not very easy, right? I mean, if you leave a job and you're not working for a year, and then it becomes very difficult to join back again, right?
True.
So, but he took that plunge. He knew that was his calling. He knew that he wanted to do his own job work, and he did it. And then thereafter, we got Vivek Sahi, who's my batchmate from pre-C, who's my who was and is my best friend. So we got him in, and the three of us got going.
How did you actually start it? Well, okay, first thing is you got your domain name. Then what was the?
Got the company incorporated. We already had an office. That my earlier house, where I used to stay was DV's office, Shipskart's office. Every office was that only. So in fact, as I speak today, today is the last day of this office. So we're leaving this office. We're shifting to a new, a nice office that we've taken. So we're shifting to that office. Today is the last day. So, so basically, we got the company incorporated. Sunny was obviously very well versed with the legal aspects and, what all needs to be done in incorporation of companies and so on and so on. So he did that, and then we started looking for the first client, and so obviously first client and who's going to be our tech partner.
So this Shipskart, so okay, you have to prepare, right? It is not that, okay, you incorporate company, you need to sustain till you actually become, you have some earnings or something like that. So one thing is good that you told me, Merchant Navy, it is very easy for me to leave and, next 6 months, and we have always our COC and we can always bank on it and go back to see if we fail something. And for sure people, that's really a challenge, leaving a regular job.
Big challenge.
Yeah. So that in that way, Merchant Navy people are gifted that you always have a backup whenever it is, and the jobs are plentiful for Indians, so you can always go back. So how much was your preparation for Shipskart, like in the financial terms? So were you financially ready for Shipskart? Or?
So you will never be ready, I believe. Basically. So I saved a chunk of money, thinking that I'm going to sustain this money for the next 1 year, and 1 year we will start earning and we'll be able to manage. So God had different plans. February we incorporated the company, and March I think my wife was conceived with twins. So so obviously the first time I got to know about it, I was very happy, but it was mixed feeling. I was thinking, oh God, twins, double the kharcha. So, but as I said, every baby comes with their own blessings, and they're all on destiny. I think they changed my destiny in that way. So, I think in about 6 months also I finished all the money. There was no money left, and yes, but again, when you're in that situation, I don't know from where the outside power, how you get that power and motivation to just drag on and see what can be done, we started very, very slowly. We started taking about 25,000-30,000 from the company. So good part was that my bourbon bosses, they invested we raised about 80 to 1 crore, of pre-seed money, from my bourbon in the next 1.5 years. They never asked me any questions. They never asked me to, find out, tell me how the website looks, and never anything, no financial, nothing. They were like, you're there in the company, okay, we'll give the money. And but one thing was very, very clear. We always, had this rule that we will never use this money for our salaries. I mean, salaries will only take from the money that we earn. This money is only for business development and other expenditure.
Correct.
So, and that's how we went about it. We started after a year, I think we started getting some work and here and there, and we did a lot of trips. So
how was the first PowerPoint made? You discussed with your friend, you had decided he left the company after how many months?
Who?
Immediately, your second.
Yeah. So yes, Sunny left the company in about I would say 6 months. He left the company.
Okay. So you had a conversation in February.
Yes. So February we incorporated the company. I came back from ship in June. Okay. So June was my last tenure, and there was 6 months from June. In January he gave his notice.
June which
February
year?
2017. So basically, we were not doing anything in 2017. The company was incorporated, but we started operations only in September, October in 2018. So actually we've just done 3 financial years, complete financial years.
Okay. So when was the first PowerPoint made for Shipstart?
So basically, from there on, we were selected by Port Excel. Port Excel was is a Dutch accelerator based in Rotterdam. So we did a couple of rounds of interviews with them, and thereafter, after the interviews,
when was this?
This was 2018 January, and they called us in February for they shortlisted about 30 startups from about 1,000 that must have applied that year, that for that cohort. And they called us, so we went for our first trip to Rotterdam, both of us. And
tell us your journey from June 2017 to Feb 2018.
Yeah, so as I said, my wife was expecting, so this is more about her pregnancy, and I'm doing the basically the homework for Shipstart, and Sunny, whatever times he's getting from after office, he's going to do. In fact, sometimes in the office also, he was not taking lunch breaks. He was just working on Shipstart, finding more information. Filed a lot of RTIs that time. He was very good with RTIs. So if we filed out RTIs, how many ships come to JNPT port? What are the ships' names? And who are their agents? How many number of calls they are making, and so whatever data we wanted.
Okay.
Yeah, because how will I get that information, right? So we still have those RTI replies and all that. How much ONGC spends on food? How much SCI spends on this?
Wow. Okay.
So we filed a lot of RTIs that time, and so that 6 months was all preparing only. And January, February. So I used to look at Google funding, maritime accelerators. So then I got through Port Excel, and we went to February. In February, we went to Port Excel. We had this event there, 2 days, where we had to pitch 3 minutes pitch twice, and then we will have a 30-minute conversation with 10 tables. Like 30 here, 30 here on the full day. 8 tables, I think. So full day you were like talking, and 2 days consecutive this was happening. And the second day, they told you who's going to be selected out of the 30 companies that had come there. There's so many, and they had to select about 12, I think, that cohort. And 11th till 10th, our name did not come. And I was thinking that our name would come, because we are different. That's what my perception was. But so 11th name was our name, and we were finally selected. So they invested about 100,000 euros in the company, and part of it was very little cash, but more of kind. And but we had good 4 months where we learned a lot. It was like a crash course and startup MBA that they help you with, and we did not know anything. So to be very honest, and especially for me, I did not know anything. I'm like a shippy. I just been on the ship. There's hardly any exposure that way, right? But yes, we learned a lot. We came back. We started doing work. A lot of work started coming our way, and slowly. And then
what was the journey about the website? When did you have the website ready, and how was it operational?
During this time, the Port Excel time, we had already we had a technical partner, outsourced partner, but technical partner who was helping us. So that process had started, and we were going online that time. By July 2018, we had gone online. So it was
from the Port Excel time, you were not online.
We were part online. There were like some things which were on the basically going on in the background also, but we were online. So we were online, and then 2018 mid to end we started working and delivering orders and so on.
So your first funding was 1 crore from Bourbon?
No, not from Bourbon. From people who used to work in Bourbon. It was angel investment.
Okay, they were all angels.
So, yes, all angels.
Seed basically.
Seed basically, pre-seed, and 10 lakh rupees, 20 lakhs, 20 lakhs, like that. Basically crowdfunding. It was not 1 crore also. It was about 85 lakhs. So, yes, that was it. And then
what about equity sharing?
I remember that time. Obviously, we were giving 1% for 5 lakhs, and then next year we were 10 lakhs for 1%. And obviously today the company after this round is valued at about 110 crores. So about 1.1 crore for 1%. So obviously people have benefited
So you did all the legal paperwork also for this one person whom they were paying you 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs?
Yeah. So basically, Sunny was pretty much, he's a lawyer by profession. So he's pretty much familiar with all those sort of things, and never a problem.
Okay. And who was your first customer?
First customer was actually my batchmate, whose ship was coming to Mangalore, New Mangalore, and Sahil Sachdeva. Okay. And his ship was coming, and he called me like, "Can you deliver all these things, provisions and all that?" But we did not even have a vendor in Mangalore, but we obviously looked it up online. I said, obviously we can. So, but we looked it up online, and we got everything done.
So it was offline sale or online sale?
Offline sale. So, but yes, I mean, he was. Always, I feel very proud that my batchmate was my first client. So, and we did a couple of more orders for him later on. But yes, that's when the first client happened.
So you were already talking to your friends and everybody about.
Yes. On the Facebook and all, when a very good part about being recognized by a foreign accelerator is like, hey, when you come back to India now, people think that you already a big star. When you've been selected by a Dutch accelerator, whether you believe it or not, whether you're successful or not, only as a shippy, when you're doing something different, people appreciate it. At least the shippies appreciate it. We all dream about, looking at the sea, we will be doing this, but somebody actually does living our dreams. Somebody is actually living our dream. Obviously, people were taking notice of it, and I used to obviously write it on Facebook, so everybody used to see it. So yeah, I mean, people then that's how Sahil contacted me.
So this was when the first sale. Which month was it? In 2018 only?
2018 October.
Then how did you get your next client? Was it word of mouth?
The word of mouth. Not word of mouth. Basically, we attended a couple of seminars. Captain Virender Mishra's seminar, the Shipping Tribune seminar. From there on, it started increasing. So we started going into Bombay. We started meeting the vendors in Bombay, in that Masjid Bandar area. So I was going first time there, I was like totally, dressed up in suit and those boots. I did not know what I'm doing and where I'm going. But we started at least telling people that we exist, and But yeah, those were tough times when you look back. But obviously you have to start from somewhere. So yeah, we did all that, and then we started building.
So how did you sign up your vendors? This vendor in Mangalore, he was obviously, you did it on phone and email. All the requirements.
Yeah. So later on, we made agreements and signed up with them. So right now we're having at least 500 plus vendors now. With whom we have worked, and so it was all on the email.
So who was your first vendor who signed up?
I don't remember his name, but it was something with his company name. New Mangalore. Mangalore was the port. I remember. I don't remember the name right now, but yes, I know who he was. I can obviously look it out. Yeah, obviously, it's special, to have the first vendor deliver for you.
So when did your sale start from offline to online? The first online sale made.
This happened basically 2020. So 2019 also there was very little. They were online order, but it was not regular. 2020 we were like regular with online ordering. So if you see our 95% of our Bombay operations right now is completely online. 100% of our Kochi operations.
Let's now as of present, what is Shipskart for our viewers? What is
Shipstart is basically an Amazon-like marketplace. Has all the pictures, the brand details, the product names, and how you find an Amazon sort of a platform. It is exactly like that, but in a very B2B marine. Maritime way, in short. So you can basically, being a captain of a ship, you can directly create requisitions from an app or from a web platform. Companies can use an app to approve or use it, make a use it approve it from the web platform. And vendors also can similarly use both the modes of, communication. So it is one platform where vendors, companies and ships are all together, whether it's app or web platform. And there are, based on our experiences at sea, we've made it as simple as, better. It's even better than ordering from Amazon. I would, go on to say, I'm talking in a ship's perspective. How difficult it is to order from an Excel or an ERP software. it's so easy.
It's really, there are so many things, in Amazon we are assured, we are home, sitting at home and handling returns are all so easy. So how is it, it's really challenging to think about it from the ship's perspective. Ships are going from port to port. If there is some quality issue, then how do you handle it?
So yes, so obviously, that's why we are opening fulfillment centers all around India. So in the next 1.5 years, you'll see that we will have a fulfillment center at every seaport in India. So so that we can monitor the quality. So we right now have 2 fulfillment centers. We have one in Bombay, which is now Mumbai, which is about 1.1 years old. We have one in Kochi, which is again, 1 year. We just started, in fact, to a bigger warehouse, but we already have an office in Kochi for last 1 year. We'll be opening
one. You have your own warehouses. That's what you're talking about.
We already have. So we shifted to a newer, 5,000 square feet warehouse in Mumbai. Basically, just yesterday, day before yesterday. And earlier we were in a 600 square feet office and warehouse in near the Yellow Gate. But now we have moved to Vashi because 80% of our clients are there. And Cochin also, we've taken a warehouse. In the next 3 months, we'll see us having a warehouse in Gujarat. So in the next 1.5 years, we'll cover the entire India so that we can do a lot of, we can have a control over the quality.
Excellent. And what is your plan for globalization? This Amazon is global, right? So how?
Absolutely. So in fact, only yesterday somebody was asking me what are the plans. So basically, we would be opening similar fulfillment centers in UAE, Singapore, which are our go-to markets. And thereafter, if you need to expand globally fast, you cannot open fulfillment centers everywhere because it's obviously costly also, right? So we want to have strategic partnership with suppliers who will work at fixed margins with us. We will thereafter work on fixed margins, not too much margin, because our expenditure is only technology.
Correct.
When we don't have anything in in that, if I am opening a warehouse, basically having a strategic alliance in Nigeria tomorrow, I don't own anything in Nigeria.
Correct.
It's only my technology that is, getting more clients, right? So even if a 6% margin in those sort of places can easily work out for us. So that's the global expansion plan.
What is your forecast for Shipstart? How long you have a timeline for Shipstart now? Next, what is your thing?
So next, by the end of this year, we'll have another Series B round wherein we'll, go for a larger chunk of money.
Total funding till now? Till now,
I think we have around $3 million. So 2.7 obviously in this round, and before that, last year we did about $225,000 from Vijayaraghavan, and before that we did about say $110,000, $120,000. So I think around 3 million plus of funding. So, but obviously the major chunk has come now, 2.7 million. So I think we'll go for a bigger round end of this year, and thereafter we'll expand more and more and more. And I think in the next 5 years, I see Shipstart being a unicorn and having presence in more than 50 countries.
And maybe IPO also.
Who knows? That's the dream. That's the dream.
All the best.
I'll be lying that if I don't dream, all these things. I dream every day. I think I firmly believe that from our end we can see if you were doing it or I am doing it, we're going to do this thing the same way, maybe a little bit different here and there, right? But primarily, if the vision is same, you will do it the same way. It eventually boils down to the destiny. How if basically you have somebody who's looking up, who's looking down from upstairs, you'll be in safe hands then.
Yeah. Beautiful. Coming to a personal side, I see you are a cricketer also. Tell us something about that.
Oh yes, so we have a Shipstart Cricket Club. So we from 2018 October we started this club, and we play matches every Saturday or Friday. Obviously the 3 co-founders are there and prominent players and the main players. But obviously we're not the best players. But yes, there are others.
It's fully sponsored by Shipstart, is it?
60% of it's sponsored by Shipstart. So jerseys and all those sort of things would be sponsored by Shipstart. So basically, the other people. So we've basically made it an open environment wherever whoever can pay for the fees pays, or whoever cannot, it's completely sponsored.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, but 60% of it is completely sponsored by Shipstart.
Okay. So every Saturday you have matches?
Every Saturday we normally play night matches only. So it's like a proper stadium sort of a ground, grounds wherein we play. So it's completely with floodlights and those sort of.
So how do people get to know about this?
So everybody knows, there are so many teams, and we've been there for now 3-4 years. So we've got the connects, and until unless we joined, we did not know anything that such a corporate cricket setup exists. But if you see now, every company in India, is having a corporate cricket setup. So we were actually very late to join this.
Okay, so if somebody wants to have enroll a new team, so they
very easy. So so we don't have to we have only our team. We basically go, we will just basically book a ground. There are 30 grounds near our house, where we stay in Noida, Greater Noida side. There are more than 30, 40, 50 grounds, and we just have to book a ground. The groundsman will book the next team. So I don't have to get 2 teams. No, I will book a ground, or I will just tell them that I am participating in this tournament. So they will arrange the remaining things. So these days you obviously have an app called Crick Heroes, wherein you can basically check live scoring. What is happening right now at Shipstart cricket match? What's the score? And live, it's ball by ball.
Excellent.
As I said, for us, the exposure was very less. When we were Shippies, but I think now Shippies don't have that issue because internet and so much. So
yes.
That time it was very less exposure.
Tell us about your daily routine.
So basically,
you are a startup, so you work 24 hours or 26 hours?
Not like that, but so I leave office by 6 o'clock. I come to office by 10:30, and I leave by 6:30 maximum. But when I go home, then I obviously, I am on the phone, because I am, working. So I will send emails, because now we have obviously a US investor. So, US opens that time. So, and the team is also like that. We have US deliveries in Brazil or South America or, other places. So they have to be up and, replying. So yes, Saturday, Sundays is obviously Saturdays matches, and Sundays obviously for the family. So,
beautiful.
But I am on the phone.
How big is your team now?
So we have about 30 people now. Yeah. So in the last 1.5 years, I think we grew from 7 to 30 in the last 1.5 years.
Okay, so I think we have overshot the time, as I told you earlier. So last question from my side: what is Merchant Navy for you?
I think everything. I mean, it's given me everything, in life, in terms of financial security for me, for my parents, for my family. It's given me the opportunity to explore the world, to meet different kinds of people, which and normally I wouldn't have, actually, to be very honest. And I think the best of friends that I made is through this industry, right? So it's given me everything, the confidence, because eventually somehow I know that money is the big force. I know how it feels when you don't have money, how discouraging and comforting it is. Right? So obviously, when maybe it's a difficult job, but it's giving you good money.
Yeah.
Right? So at the end of the day, you're very happy that I earn for my family and I can give them whatever they want. So yes, it's given me everything from confidence to the person that I am today. It's only because of Merchant Navy.
Thank you so much, Dhruv, for spending the time with us. And it is every minute was insightful, and it gave us a lot of information. And I'm sure viewers would be taking a lot of things from this conversation to their home and their life.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for having me, and it's always a pleasure talking to you.
Anything else you feel I missed out to ask, and you want to tell us? You missed this, but I wanted to tell everybody about this. You have
nothing, sir. I think the crux of the point, the main point that that we needed to highlight was obviously that that how good, or what are the good and bad parts of their life at sea, and I think. People who might not be happy at sea right now, you have too many options right now to leave sea and start from scratch ashore. It's a different life, it's a good life again, and it's decent money also. So you don't have to. But there are no comparisons. You cannot get a tax-free income that you were generating there, here. So, but that's the important part. That it's no longer a close-knit industry where you cannot just go out when you've joined.
Yeah, but again, once you come ashore, there is no limit, right? At sea, you have limits.
Absolutely. You can do as much as you want.
Okay, thank you so much, Dhruv. Thank you so much for your time. We'll surely catch up again with your next round, and let me know when is your IPO. I will be one of your.
Surely, I will let you know. I will let you know. That's some time off for me.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Take care. Bye-bye.